born against the stream. It don't matter what race or creed or color. You love this land and you're my brother. And that ends when you know your stand. If you say you can't breathe, I'll show you we can. Ain't never gonna stop believing. We were born for freedom. We're born for freedom.
Is really okay. Testing 1 2 test. Are we here? Am I here? Test. Somebody give me a comment. Okay, I only wasted 3 minutes of your time this time, right? Yay. All right, I'm here. Good morning. So what I said was, I'm tired when I'm fucking up. And even after I said that, I was still fucking up. That's how tired I am. Too bad you guys can't read lips, right? All right. We are all very disturbed and distraught by what has happened in Mar-a-Lago. We know that this is a full-blown attack on Donald Trump, and it is also an example. They're making an example out of a former president. And, to many of us, he is still the current president. He's the rightful president. We all see the writing on the wall. Many of us are very scared. We're very upset. A couple months ago when the IRS was purchasing, I'm going to put this mic down. Let me know if you can still hear me from like a foot away. Test. Can you hear me? Hello. Good morning. Can y'all still hear me? Yes, no. I'm going to keep talking. I can turn the volume. Yeah, exactly. This is an example of what they want to do to us. We're being put on notice, patriots. We are being put on notice. They are letting us know if they can do it to Trump, they can do it to anybody. So get ready for the IRS to show up at your house. That is something that I think really ties into all of this. I guess they thought they would be real slick and purchase all that ammo to without letting us know why they were purchasing all that ammo a couple months back. And now we know because they want to add 87,000 new agents to their payroll. Currently, I just heard this morning, the FBI has about 36,000 employees and about 12,000 agents. So to be adding that many agents really sounds rather unrealistic. It doesn't really sound feasible. It doesn't sound like they would have the capacity. I mean, can you imagine if you add 87,000 agents, you would have to add 3 times that amount of staff. Number one, who's going to pay for that? I mean, we gave all of our money to Ukraine, right? And number two, how would they get the technology and the offices ready in time to come after us? So I think, even though it's really scary, I think we have some time. I think we have some time to figure out what we're going to do or go off the grid or whatever it may be. But that's another story. Do you, at first, when I wanted to do this, to comment about this situation, initially what I wanted to do was do a bunch of watch parties so we could see what everyone was saying about this situation. So, I mean, Jericho's talking about it, Megan McGlover's talking about it, Bongino's talking about it, Matt Getz is talking about it, all the conservatives are talking about it. But I decided, you know what? You guys can just Google it and you guys can just see all of that yourselves. You don't really need me to host that. All it's going to do is make us even more depressed. I'll just make you depressed in a different way. I decided that instead of doing all those watch parties, why don't we take a closer and deeper look at who is Bruce Reinhart? But before we get into that, we've got to do our housekeeping. Okay. First off, if you are not following me on Instagram, you should follow me on the gram. That is my personal page. So if you want the full body shots, if you want the Fashion Nova clothing reviews, if you want to see what kind of fun stuff I'm doing here and there throughout Texas, Austin, whatever other parts of my life, that is my personal page at Red Pill Jenny on Instagram. If you're not following me on Twitter, I am at Red Pill. I am at Rage Red Pill. It's reversed. TikTok, not Red Pill Rage. Truth Social, Gab, and Rumble. I am at Red Pill Rage. Make sure you're following me on Rumble. You know I don't want to be here on YouTube. You know I don't want to be here. Okay, but certain things are pressing and necessary. My website, my first completed website, www.redpillreadingclub.com. We are going through books. We are talking about leadership. We are talking about military strategy. We are talking about the art of war. We're talking about motivation. We're talking about all kinds of shit, all kinds of good shit. All right, stuff that you can listen to on your way to work. Hopefully things that will empower you while you're at work. And more importantly, empower all of us in this ultra MAGA empire fight. It is time for us to become Siths. It is time for us to crush the liberal scum. Okay? No mercy, no more compromise. It's gone too far. And this whole situation with Trump is a perfect example of that. The fundraiser has begun. Let me go ahead. Why does that say that? Hold on. Let me edit that. Fundraiser doesn't end tonight. We're starting it. Okay. The fundraiser for Zach has started. We need to raise $1,000 by my birthday, which is September 4th. So you can be a participant in my birthday party. It's the live stream. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'll come up with some theme. I wanted to do some music that Zach likes, but his wife told me he likes David Guetta. I can't stand David Guetta. So maybe we'll do something. We'll play a few David Guetta songs, but we're not going to do an hour of David Guetta songs. Okay, I'll figure out what we're going to do. We might do a totally 80s party. We might do a 70s party. We might do an EDM party. I don't know, but it'll be fun, and I'll be in a new home. with a new selfie ring, and Bro will be there. And I don't know if anybody lives in Texas and wants to come to my party, you're welcome to come. Let's get that money together. I am asking flat $25 donations. Obviously, if you can give more would be appreciated, but let's just do flat donations. I appreciate all of you who've been sending $5 and $10 donations. I understand a lot of you don't have it, but again, hashtag no excuses 2022. I'm giving you a month, just under a month. I mean, I announced this like weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Okay, so y'all should have saved your money. You've got 2 more paychecks until September 4th. So somewhere in those 2 paychecks, you should be able to square away $25. Okay, let's just do flat $25 donations, because I'm tired of counting small numbers. And frankly, and I know I'm going to sound like an asshole when I say this, I'm tired of begging for pennies. Okay, let's just do $25. Everyone can do that. Okay. All right. Comments. Rumble still has growing to do. I know. They armed USDA, IRS, etc. They will use this against us. World Economic Forum, we will own nothing and be happy. This is why IRS is being armed. I know, I understand that, but they're gonna have to come up with the staffing. And my guess is that they're probably gonna get their staff from China. It's not racist at all. It comes from China. They're probably gonna get their staffing from China. I mean, because that's a lot of American citizens that they're going to have to train. First of all, you're going to have to find American citizens who want the job. Then you're going to have to train them. Okay. That's going to take a while. All right. I mean, I guess they can hire Antifa. That would probably, I mean, Antifa is basically their brown shirts anyway. So they're probably going to hire people from Antifa, and that's fine. Because we're better shots than they are, right? Okay. I'm not too scared yet. I'm scared. Trust me, I'm fucking scared. I can't stop thinking about it. This is an extremely serious situation. Good morning, Bone. Good morning, Clue. Lioness Leo. I see you on my TikTok, girl. 25, but have to set up Cash App. That's fine. Thank you, Bone. That's fine. I appreciate you. Appreciate you just taking that extra step. Okay. Who is Bruce Reinhart? Well, you guys remember... Ooh, I'm probably going to get banned for this. You guys remember on Saturday when I did my recap of CPAC, my final recap of the whole the whole time I was there. And I said, don't trust the bagels. Remember I said that? I am going to give you guys more reason. And at the end of all the reading that we're about to do, I am going to once and for all prove to you why we shouldn't trust the bagels. Okay. Now, I'm not anti-Semitic. I grew up Christian. I grew up a Zionist, kind of. I grew up believing that they were victims throughout the world, that they had been persecuted since the beginning of time. I grew up believing that and supporting that. But here's one thing that you guys can't deny, is that the bagels will always have their allegiance to the bagels. And I know we all love Ben Shapiro. He's made a great impact in our movement, and he has been a wonderful educator. We're all big fans. But I'm just saying, if the day ever came where Ben Shapiro had to choose between the United States of America and his people, He's going to choose his people. And I want you guys to understand that they're all like this. I don't have to tell you about the Rothschilds. I don't have to tell you about the families. I don't have to tell you about Massoud. I don't have to tell you about the Federal Reserve. I don't have to tell you these things because you already know, okay? But the common underlying theme here is that they will always choose their own before they choose their country, okay? And maybe that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? Just like many of you Christians, you will always choose Christianity over your country. And that's fine. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I want you to know I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-traitor. I'm anti-treason. Okay? And at the end of this, we are going to listen to an excerpt from a news article that I heard yesterday on the Epoch Times in regard to what Israel is doing behind our backs. Okay? So make sure you stay to the end. And if you have to leave, make sure you come back and listen to the whole thing later. All right. First off, like I said, we're going to talk about who the fuck is this guy, Bruce Reinhart. Okay. Well, we know that his net worth is $30 million. And before we get started with that, let's look at this Instagram video that someone recorded off of CBS News. The reason I want you guys to watch this is because I think this was a very fair assessment, and I like to give credit where credit is due. I thought this was a very fair assessment of what happened, and it was shocking to see CBS be fair. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this one.
There's never been, this is unprecedented, a search warrant executed at the home of a former president of the United States. But I'll ask you the same question that I asked our correspondents, which is, to have such an unprecedented move, what kind of evidence and how likely would it be that a judge would look at that evidence and say, you have enough to go and do something which we know is going to be cataclysmic as far as the political world and the media world sees it?
I think cataclysmic is absolutely a good description for this. Look, this is truly unprecedented. So we know that there have only been 46 presidents, and this is the first one, to my knowledge, where a federal search warrant was executed. And look, Vlad, I would have thought under the circumstances that a subpoena would have been appropriate. However, I have not seen the underlying fact patterns that the federal magistrate had to base a decision that there was enough probable cause, which are like reasonable grounds to expect that a crime, one of 4,500 different federal violations that could potentially be. And in this instance, we know it's attached to the National Archives and Records Administration, taking some 15 boxes away from Mar-a-Lago a number of months ago, and then referring this case to the Justice Department. This is unprecedented. And for this to be, it was a knock and announce warrant, but for federal agents to show up at a former president's residence in search of records that might be attached to a potential violation of federal crime, I think we're all still dealing with this news.
Okay, so I have a two-parter. Clearly, it's going to take a high level of authorization to get a search warrant like this. So I want you to give us a sense of just like how high up this would have gone. But also, if they go in with a search warrant for these documents, but they see something else, maybe related to the 2020 election, not covered by the search warrant, can they still pick that up?
Great questions. Part one, first of all, the search warrant is just the initial step. It's where we have reasonable grounds to believe that a crime may have been committed. It's not the same as an indictment, and it's certainly not the same as a conviction, where for a conviction to occur, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. We are a long way from that. So pump the brakes right here. Now, moving to your second question, that's considered plain view. Now, the search warrant is going to be very restrictive, and it's going to say, in this corner, in this safe, in this room, there is evidence to believe that there might be evidence of a crime. However, if you are executing the search warrant in good faith and you stumble upon something related to January 6th or related to the election in 2021, yes, that can be used in a court of law.
James, let me tap your FBI. Let me tap the whatever instruction you would have received at the academy with regards to the history of the FBI. And the reason why I want to ask you about it is because you are hearing from allies of former President Trump, including sitting members of Congress and the United States Senate, who are talking about the FBI and saying that it's a political organization now. You've got one congresswoman suggesting that the government defund the FBI. It is not a secret. It is part of the record that during the days when J. Edgar Hoover ran the Federal Bureau of Investigation, it was a political organization in that he targeted people that he did not like or people that he thought were threats either to himself or in his mind to the government of the United States. And we've seen time and time again as the records have come forth, targeting of civil rights leaders, targeting of people in Hollywood, whoever he didn't like. Can you explain to our viewers the steps that were taken to clean the FBI up in the wake of Director Hoover's passing and in the years after, where the FBI became the tip of the spear in terms of making sure that, for example, the Ku Klux Klan was eventually wiped out. All the things that the FBI was able to do to sort of cleanse themselves from that history, and to have that accusation hurled now again seems kind of mind-boggling to me. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, it is wholly depressing. Look, it was just a few years ago where the FBI enjoyed favorability ratings, Vlad, of 95% in the U.S. public. And obviously, it's not the same now. Look, going back, let's put this all into context. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was born in 1895. The FBI began as the Bureau of Investigation in 1908, and Hoover was a 29-year-old kid, if you will, in 1924 when he took it over. When he passed in 1972, he had a 48-year run spanning 8 different presidents, from Calvin Coolidge all the way to Richard Nixon. Congress, rightly, after J. Edgar Hoover passed away, decided to put a 10-year term on FBI directors. Director Hoover did many good things, and he also did some insidious things. And we've hoped that we've advanced the ball and gotten better and better as an agency. Look, the 2016 election brought the FBI back into the crosshairs because of the charges of partisanship or partiality or bias from senior level members. There are 36,000 employees in the FBI, 12,000 FBI agents. I can assure both of you and the viewers of this right now, the vast majority of them are good people, honest brokers. They're following the evidence bereft of fear or favor. Yes, there have been some folks in the upper echelons who put their fingers on the lever. We hope that they've been called to an account. And if there's something involved here, we'll certainly call that out too. I just think it's too early to make a statement right now on where we are. But I'll caution you this, Vlad, we better have the goods. If we don't have the goods here, and it is found that there's no evidence to support any charges, this is not going to be a good look, unfortunately.
You do know your history.
Yeah, that
James
was good.
That was really good.
I wasn't
Thank you.
sure
And I think our audience will have, no, but it's so important that
that
you sort of lay that timeline out and explain that. And also honestly pointed out that there have been some people, even in recent years, who have been accused of that bias.
Yeah, and I think it's important because we know, with all the misinformation that pops up, with all the manipulation of history and the rewriting of history, people are going to point to that time and say, see, that's what the FBI is all about.
You're definitely going to have people that are going to say, the FBI has always been like this because, they were targeting Malcolm X and Dr. King just because they didn't like what they were asking for, which was, the rights that they are guaranteed under the Constitution.
James Gagliano, we always learn something when we talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
The Biden administration is suspending the...
Obviously, there's never been, this is unprecedented.
Unmute. Okay. Okay. I thought that was a really fair segment of the news. Let me address this. So Sun Monster says our forefathers chose Christianity over country. In God we trust is in every transaction. Just saying. I get it. I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is that, you know, the Bagels have every right to choose their religion and their people over everything else. I get that. You know, they're going to do what they want to do. They're fiercely loyal people to their own. But the issue is they're not choosing God as we know him. They're choosing money, greed, and world domination. Okay. And I don't need to go into the history. I don't need to talk about why Hitler did what he did. Okay. I don't need to go into that because you already know. The bagel agenda is not about advancing God's place in the world. The bagel agenda is about advancing their own place in the world, if that makes sense. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Yes, term limits are necessary. Last night he heard Andrew Cuomo say himself it was bad. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, my inbox is full. I'll take care of that today. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you. All right. So next up, let's read this article. Who is Bruce Reinhart? Wikipedia bio of a judge who approved the FBI search warrant on Mar-a-Lago. Before I say anything else, I do know that there is some questionability. There's some questionable aspects of Wikipedia. But this seems to be the consensus, what I see here on this article. So we're going to go ahead and read it. And you're more than welcome to correct me if I'm wrong about anything that is said in this article. And let me try to make it bigger. Okay, yeah. All right. All right, I'm going to go down a little bit. Bruce Reinhart worked in private practice for 10 years after leaving his job and government appointed a federal magistrate in 2018. The official biography of the judge states that he handled a docket that spanned the whole gamut of federal offenses, including narcotics, violent crimes, public corruption, financial frauds, child pornography, and immigration. The federal judge, Bruce, who signed the warrant issued by the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago on Monday, reportedly represented those employed by convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. According to Daily Caller, Judge Bruce Reinhart, who signed off on a sealed search warrant allowing the FBI to raid Trump's property, quit his job at the attorney in 2008 and went to work for Epstein, according to reports from the Merle. During his decade of representing clients, Reinhart was named in a crime victims' rights lawsuit in 2011. He was accused of violating the Justice Department's policy of switching sides and potentially leveraging insider information about Epstein's case to curry favor, the Miami Herald alleged. Now, we're going to get back to this. Policy of switching sides and potentially leveraging insider information. We're going to get to that as soon as I'm done with this article. He also plans to set up his private practice while still serving as a federal prosecutor in South Florida, the outlet alleged in another article. Reinhart reportedly quit working for the U.S. Attorney's Office on New Year's Day of 2008 and started working for Epstein on January 2nd, 2008, and the New York Post reported. His clients included Epstein's pilots, his scheduler, and a woman called Nadia Marcinkova, who Epstein described as his Yugoslavian sex slave, according to the outlet. That's fucked up. His pilot and his scheduler, oh my God. It has been revealed that Jeffrey Epstein's employees were represented by the Florida judge who approved the FBI raid on Donald Trump's house. Before authorizing the unannounced search on Mar-a-Lago yesterday, Bruce Reinhart represented some of the rich pedophile's staff. I don't know if it's going to get to this, but a lot of the the parishioners of the temple, he represented them in because they were dealing with Epstein too. So he wasn't just working for Epstein, he was working for a lot of people who were in bed with him and probably visiting the island as well. As part of an investigation, Trump transported sensitive documents from the White House to his Florida property. The FBI examined Trump's estate. The former president detailed the raid in a lengthy statement, claiming that the feds broke into a safe at his house while looking for the documents. Although 15 boxes of sensitive information are said to have been taken by the agents, they have remained silent about their contents. In a lengthy statement, the ex-president revealed that the raid and said the feds broke into a safe at his home as they hunted for documents. The agents are reported to have seized 15, but okay, kind of repeated themselves. Okay, Bruce's age is not available on the internet. However, looking at his photos, judge must be in his 60s and served as the internet does not have Bruce's age listed. The judge appears to be in his 60s from his pictures and worked as an assistant U.S. attorney in West Palm Beach. On March 14th, 2018, Bruce Reinhart took the oath to become a United States judge for the Southern District of Florida. He works for McDonald Hopkins, a business advisory and advocacy law firm, as a co-chair of the firm's white-collar and government compliance practice group. He specialized in sophisticated civil litigation and white-collar criminal defense. They worked as trial gray attorneys for the U.S. Department of Justice Public Integrity Section from 1988 to 1996. However, he got the opportunity through the Attorney General's Honors Program. Reinhart resigned from the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office effective on New Year's Day 2008 and went to work for Epstein's cohorts the following day. Epstein was found dead in August 2019. Bruce's age, they keep talking about that. It's kind of repeating itself a little bit. I found, okay, so let's move on from that one. Let's go to this one. This one's a little bit more detailed. Okay. The judge who approved the search on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was attacked Tuesday for his involvement. Judge Reinhart, a former prosecutor who had previously been criticized for representing former employees of Jeffrey Epstein related to his sex trafficking scandal, appears to be on the board. Here's what I was trying to say. The board of a South Florida synagogue. Trump loyalists eager to question the legitimacy of the FBI raid seized upon that detail, with Lenny Dykstra, retired New York Mets legend, questioning the nature of Reform Schul's Judaism. I hope y'all weren't expecting the synagogue where go ahead and raid Trump judge Bruce Reinhart is on the board of trustees is the one where the congregation keeps kosher, observes Sabbath, etc. You can bet they're into social justice, of course. Dykstra tweeted to his nearly 87,000 followers. Reinhart was sworn in as magistrate judge for the Southern District of Florida in 2018. After a decade in private practice, he had previously been prosecutor at U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida. Bruce Reinhart is listed as a current board of trustees on the website of Temple Beth David, a Reformed congregation in Palm Beach Gardens. The synagogue did not immediately respond to inquiries on Tuesday afternoon. 2 additional warrants were signed to Reinhart and entered into the court system on Monday, according to the Miami Herald, but remained sealed as of Tuesday afternoon. Dykstra, a 3-time Major League Baseball All-Star with the Mets and Phillies, who was raised Christian, has stayed in the headlines since his retirement in 1996. The New York Post reported in 2018, months after he was arrested on charges of threatening an Uber driver, that Dykstra was attending weekly Torah study with Rabbi Shmuel Metzger, who is affiliated with the Chabad movement. Charges stemming from the Uber incident were dropped in 2019. That was probably a money grab. I'm just saying, when motherfuckers see rich people, they think they can, sue for shit. He also did not immediately respond to a request for comment, but many on his Twitter swiftly denounced his post. It is dangerous and should be reported. One reply read, "Wow, you're an anti-Semite. Somehow I'm not surprised," wrote another. Reinhart, who donated $1,000 to Barack Obama's first presidential campaign in 2008 and $500 to Jeb Bush's bid for the Republican presidential nomination in 2016, has had his own history of controversy. His representation of people connected to Epstein, the pilot, the scheduler, and the fact that he took them on the day after leaving the U.S. Attorney's Office in 2008 raised eyebrows at the time, and again after he was sworn as a judge 4 years ago. The Miami Herald reported in November 2019 that Epstein hired Reinhart in 2008 to represent several of his former employees in cases related to Epstein's sex trafficking enterprise. Reinhart told the Herald these employees included Epstein's pilots, his schedule, Sarah Kellen and Nadia Marcinkova, who Epstein once reportedly described as his Yugoslavian sex slave, all of whom were protected by an eventual non-prosecution agreement, and that a subsequent Department of Justice investigation determined was a result of poor judgment by lead prosecutor Alex Acosta. After Reinhart was named in a 2011 lawsuit that accused him of switching sides in the middle of an Epstein case, he had in a sworn deposition that he never possessed confidential information about the case while at the U.S. Attorney's Office. The Herald reported that the office later disputed that. Okay, we're going to get back to this being accused of switching sides. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Epstein was found dead in his cell, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. Okay. Why do I keep talking about this issue of him switching sides? Okay, let me tell you why. Okay. This is why we're going to talk about him switching sides. This is important here. All right. Okay. So I didn't know anything about this, and I'm shocked that no one's talking about this. This is a lawsuit between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. So first off, let's look at the parties and the attorneys, okay? The defendant is ABC Corporations, Adam Schiff, Andrew McCabe, Bruce Orr, Charles Halliday Dolan Jr., don't know who that is, Christopher Steele, we definitely know who that is, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democratic National Committee, DNC Services Corporation, Fusion GPS, Lynn Simpson, HFACC Inc. I don't know what that is. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Igor Danchenko. Jake Sullivan. James Comey. John Doe's 1 through 10. John Podesta. Kevin Kleinsmith. Lisa Page. Mark Elias. Michael Sussman. Nellie Orr, New Star Inc., New Star Security Services, Orbis Business Intelligence, Perkis Coles LLC, Peter Frisch, Peter Strzok, Philip Raines, Robert E. Mook, Rodney Joffe, Rod Rosenstein, the United States of America. Okay, so you should know about half of those names if you don't already, because these are names that have come up in the J6 committee. These are names that have come up with the Steele dossier. These are names that have come up in the Podesta emails. We know these names. I don't need to tell you. And of course, the plaintiff, Donald Trump. Okay. All right. Docket entries. I don't have time to read all this. Okay. But I'm going to put the link right here. Copy. I'm going to put it here. If anybody has a wrench, please repost this. You guys can read this yourself. I'm probably going to read it, try to read this on my lunch break. Okay. There's all these documents here that you can look at. The funny part is, even though I haven't read this yet, we can come back to this at a later time. But there's a name that comes up in here that fucks me up a bit. And it fucks me up about this whole case. So let me scroll down. I think we see this name in April. Okay. Okay, here we go. April 6, 2022. Magistrate Judge Ryan M. McCabe recused. Case assigned to Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Reinhart as paired magistrate judge for all further proceedings. Order of recusal. Pursuant to 28 USC 455 and the court's internal operating procedures, the undersigned U.S. magistrate hereby recuses himself and refers this matter to the clerk of court for reassignment. Done and ordered in West Palm Beach, Florida, this 6th day of April 22. Okay. So one judge goes out and another judge comes in. And the judge that came in was Bruce Reinhart. Okay. So why? Remember I said pay attention to this lawsuit in 2011 where he got accused of switching sides. How are you a judge in this lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, and then you're also the judge who approves the warrant to raid the plaintiff's home? Like, okay. I am not qualified to speak anymore on this because, like I said, I haven't read through all of this, but the link is there. If you have a wrench, please repost it. Oh my God, look who's here. What's up, Ollie Matthews? Everyone say hi, Ollie. How are you, Ollie Matthews? Good to have you here. I'm sure you're going to talk about it on your channel. If you guys are not following Refuge from Narcissism, please follow the wonderful YouTube channel. You could almost kind of say that the reason I became a Trump supporter has a lot to do with this man right here. There was a time several years ago where I was trying to figure out why I was suffering so much in my life. And he was one of the first, he's not a therapist, but he might as well be. He gives a voice to people who suffer from narcissistic abuse. So I was really trying to figure out, like, why is my life like this? Like, why am I dealing with so many people who are so terrible to me, right? And his channel really, really, really got me to understand that I was suffering from narcissistic abuse with my mother and probably 90% of the boyfriends that I've had in my life as well. So the funny thing is, he was the first one that has ever talked about societal narcissism. And when he first started talking about the Democrats and Trump, this was like 2015, maybe 2016. I didn't believe him. But everything that he was saying in terms of how the Democrats treat us and the gaslighting, the triangulation, the manipulation, the use of the cold shoulder, which is basically cancel culture, the discarding, all of these patterns of narcissistic abuse were literally identical to what the Democrats and the mainstream media do to us. And so I didn't believe him at first, but as time went by, everything that he said was, he had the receipts for. So he was one of the first people to really open my eyes to Trump. So thank you, Ollie. Appreciate you. I hope you're okay. I hope everything's going all right. Thanks for that shout out about who's the twerking senator or representative? The one from Rhode Island. What's funny is that you said Rage isn't surprised that this congressperson, this public official is doing that. The only thing that surprised me is she wasn't getting paid for it. The only thing that did surprise me is that she wasn't getting paid for it. But good to have you here. Just know I'm always watching. I'm always listening. And you have helped thousands and thousands of people get through and figure out what is creating the pain in their lives. And I want to take it a step further, because one thing that you don't really talk about too much, Ollie, is you don't really talk about how, as a result of narcissistic abuse, we become very codependent. And I want to let you know that I have taken my understanding of all of this a step further, and I've gotten therapy for A, my CPTSD, B, my grief because of my child, and then also addressing my codependence and the patterns that I fall into with narcissists. And we have to take responsibility. Once we know what narcissistic abuse is, we have to take responsibility to try to protect ourselves from it. So I also go to SASA 12-step meeting, which is Sexual Assault Survivors Anonymous. And then even more helpful than that is I go to Codependence Anonymous too. So I've made tremendous steps forward. And thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you for being a part of the origin of my journey, not just in terms of my personal healing and my personal life, but also understanding all of this chaos that's happening in the political world. Okay, so shout out to you, and hug your wife for me. She doesn't know me, but just let her know that we're always thinking about you and Charlene. So moving on. Like I said, there was... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zach. Yeah, it was a sad campaign ad. And you know what? She did it again. What is her name? She did it again. She did another twerk video, but I don't think the second one got as much press as the first one did, because she was in her bathing suit and we could literally see out like a lot. But I will look for that at another time. It's not really important. She did this stupid ass ad campaign video where she's like hopscotching. And I thought, okay, that's cute. Um that's very G rated. Okay. She was like hopscotching. And then right as she gets to the end of the numbers, she turns around and twerks again. Now, at least this time she was wearing shorts, but she's just so fucking tacky. She's so fucking tacky. Anyway, I wanted to get to what I was talking about with
tested
the bagels.
political battleground states in the entire country. Pennsylvania Congressman Scott
reaching 1,500 in the House. We keep.
how will you be voting?
It is already. I can tell you, Steve, over the last 2 years, 3 years since I started my run for Congress, I've never had one constituent yet tell me that,
And so on and so forth.
clean health agents that are going to be hired as a result of this package. They get that threatening.
And dollars in or travelers are all
Mixy, and it's in it. Your people economics, but universally, the economy, the cost of living, and
Trump said that $11 billion worth of virtual currency since its creation in 2019. Mixing services combine various digital assets that could include mixing illegally with COVID policy. The virus is pushing more
Hundreds of billions of dollars. No,
I'm trying to find it, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry I don't have this queued up. I'm going to try to wrap it up real quick. Tamara Mac. Is it Tamara? Tiara Mac. Yeah. There was an episode of Epoch that I listened to yesterday discussing the connections that Israel has with China, and how basically it is a slap in the face and it is an affront to the support that we as Americans, who are supposed to be allied with Israel, and Israel is supposed to be allied by us, how Israel essentially is stabbing us in the back. So it's a problem, guys. It's a problem. I am so sorry I don't have this queued up. I apologize. If I can't find it in the next few minutes, I am going to I'm going to move on because I want to wrap it up. I got to get ready for work. How's everyone doing? Linus says that's some idiocracy shit. Exactly. Good morning to Bone from Andrea. It's time to bring back public shaming and ridicule. Agreed. Oh, you guys know my boy Scott Perry? He got I came and took his son. So tomorrow night we will listen to, or if I have time tonight, we will listen to the speech that he gave at CPAC. And if you go back and you listen to, I did mention that his was one of the few speeches that actually had action items. So I could definitely see why the FBI would be going after him. I cannot find this podcast. I thought I downloaded it. I am so sorry. But we will get to that later, okay? We will get to it later. But let's just say if see again, like this is the problem that I have with people being Zionists. Okay? I understand you guys are trying to follow the Bible. You know, I get it. Most of you want to do what you think God wants you to do. But the thing is, I don't know that the Jews of ancient days, I'm sorry, the bagels of ancient days are the bagels of today. That's what I'm trying to say, you know? So you might be following, you know, supporting Israel because you think it's the right thing to do according to a document that was written, you know, a long time ago. But the question is, are the people of a long time ago the same as the people of today? And is their agenda to support and be an ally to America? Or is their agenda to use America as protection against the Middle East and any other foreign powers that we kind of mutually don't like? And are they at the same time trying to money grab from our enemies behind our backs and then set us up for failure? You know, there's I'm just asking you guys to look at the bigger picture, you know. I've said it before and I say it quite frequently. I don't care what your intention are. What is your execution? I don't care what you say you want to do or what you say you believe in. What is your execution? What are your actions? You see what I'm saying? Like there's a difference. Actions speak louder than words. So if that's being said, what does it say about Israel that they're getting in bed with China, knowing full well China is our enemy? You know what I mean? Are they doing it for the money? Are they doing it to you know, at this point, it becomes a security issue. You see what I'm saying? So I will, we will revisit this when I can find it. And I apologize for not having it ready, but we'll revisit this when I can find it because I know I had to have downloaded it, but another time. Anyway, I got to get ready for work. Well, I do want to say something. Yes, he donated. I've read multiple articles about him. It says some articles say that he donated $1,000 and some articles say that he donated $2,000, but his net worth is 30 million. So really, it's kind of chump change. It's not like he donated a lot of money. More interesting to me that I would like to know is what was he being paid by Jeffrey Epstein? That's what I want to know, because I'm sure it was much more than $1,000. A nickel hit the ground in China. That's why. You wrong for that. You wrong for that clue. I don't have my sleigh fan, but you get a sleigh. U.S. is getting run through like Kalamata Ferris. Exactly. So I'm just saying, okay, watch the bagels, all right? Because they're not the innocent, poor little let my people go people of, you know, thousands of years ago. Shit's changed up since let my people go. All right? Their agenda is to each other. Their agenda is not to justice. Their agenda is not to fairness. And their agenda certainly isn't to America. And Bruce Reinhart clearly, like the rest of them, is he has chosen who his allegiance is to. Okay. All right. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.